For more analysis, we're joined now by political analyst and author Onur Erim. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Why these two ministers, the Interior and Justice officials, why were they targeted by President Trump's new sanctions?
I don't know. I don't know why anybody would be targeted for such an action, but I guess that's who they felt would be more accountable for what they think is a wrongdoing, and that's what I think they found to be the least harmful to be backlash to U.S. if they were picked upon, because under the executive order in Turkey, if you are going to sanction somebody, it would be the president. It should be the president. Hence, they can't or they won't do it, so they're picking on a smaller guy, let's just say.
Just remind us what led to this point. There are reports that some sort of deal was made between President Trump and President Erdogan to release Mr. Brunson if a Turkish woman who was detained in Israel was also set free. She was released eventually, but Mr. Brunson was put under house arrest, and then came the sanctions by the U.S. What do you make of this alleged swap?
Well, I mean, there are many stories being told, and unfortunately, these are all stories. Until you can prove these, we don't know what to believe or what not to believe. But it does seem that there is as if there was some kind of a deal. However, the allegations in the Turkish courts against Pastor Brunson are not of any light material, and I don't think anybody would take this as lightly for a possible swap for a Turkish woman being held unjustly in an Israeli prison. So if there was a deal that was done, or if there was talks of a deal that was done, I would very much doubt that would be in return for a Turkish lady being unjustly imprisoned in an Israeli prison.
We've spoken over the last couple of years about diplomacy between Turkey and the U.S. worsening over so many issues. How has this measure, which is an extraordinary measure to happen between two NATO allies, how has it damaged that relationship, and can it be salvaged?
I hope it could be salvaged, because as we all know, the relationship between the two countries are going back almost 100 years now, actually more than that if you count the Ottoman times. It shall continue to be hopefully more prosperously in a positive way. But let's just stop for a minute and think about the rest of the world. U.S. and President Trump especially is just not on bad terms with Turkey. He has problems with almost every major country in the world. As a matter of fact, he's got more problems inside. Who's to say that he's not doing such acts, such unbelievable acts, to cover up his, problems with the Russia deal? He just tweeted today, I believe, to kind of, openly actually, to have his Attorney General stop the investigation. He's also personal problems with his past. There's a big midterm election coming up in November. So we take a look at these and think that Trump is only doing these unbelievable moves and acts towards us, but no, he's doing this towards the entire world. He's at a bad terms with China. He's at a bad terms with Germany. Probably at a worse terms than it seems with UK and the rest of the world. And forget about what's going inside. I think he's trying to avoid and do everything for a really, really bad turnout in the November elections and losing the majority in the Congress. And he's trying to do everything to avoid this. On the other hand, he's also trying to avoid his personal problems by creating pseudo problems outside anywhere else in the world.
Ankara has said it's prepared to retaliate. What measures do you think will come from Turkey?
I think there should be appropriate and at least as equal measures coming from Turkey. Trying to impose a sanction on a freely elected minister within a freely democratic country is just unbelievable. Had they done this against President Erdogan, that would have been one thing. But doing this to one of his two of the cabinet ministers is just unbelievable. There's a Trump Tower right down the road from here. I guess Turkey should maybe go back and hold the assets over there, or whatever it can, because this is now turning out to be a elementary school bully fight. Unfortunately, there's only one bully, which is sitting in D.C., and Turkey is being more, I think, at least so far, has been very subtle and taking this like a internationally diplomatic problem, which Trump clearly does not understand or comprehend.
Well, we'll wait to see what measures come out of Ankara today. Thank you so much for joining us, Onur Erim.
Thank you.